very controversial interview that Mbappe has given to the famous French football magazine. Actually, the interview was done in June, so it is not something that was done in the last few days. It was done last month, but it was published in the last few days. And in the interview, basically, he says that he doesn't get the credit he deserves because he plays for PSG. Basically, reading between the lines, that's what he's saying. He's kind of suggesting that if he played in a different league, maybe the Premier League or the Spanish league, and he was doing what he was doing for another club, then he would get much more credit. He also calls PSG a divisive team, a divisive club, and he also says it's a club that attracts a lot of gossip and rumours. Now, some people would say that his presence at the club is one of the reasons why the situation there is so divisive, and the fact that there's so many stories swirling around the club. Now, the reaction to the interview, obviously the hierarchy at PSG were furious about what he said, but it's really interesting that some of his teammates were very angry as well. So angry that we've been told that 6 of them contacted the PSG president, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, on Saturday morning to complain about Mbappe's comments. And interestingly, 2 of those 6 players were players who PSG have signed this summer. So the PSG hierarchy not happy with Mbappe, and at least 6 of his teammates not happy with him either.
Leonardo hasn't said much since leaving the club, having been sporting director there. What's he had to say on the matter? This
is significant as well, because last night, L'Équipe published an interview with Leonardo, and as you've said, he has been very reluctant to talk about PSG since he left the club. And a lot of people would actually say that he was forced out by Kylian Mbappe. His relationship with Mbappe wasn't great. A lot of people in France think that one of the conditions that Mbappe wanted before he'd extend his deal last summer was that Leonardo would leave and he'd be replaced by Luis Campos, which is exactly what happened. So there might not be a lot of love lost between Leonardo and Mbappe, but still very, very significant what Leonardo said yesterday. He basically said that no matter what, it is now time for Kylian Mbappe to leave PSG. And he also made the point that Kylian Mbappe has been at PSG for 6 years. During those 6 years, PSG haven't won the Champions League, which is their ultimate aim, but 5 other teams have won the Champions League. And he made the point that they all did it without Kylian Mbappe. So it proves that it can be done. You don't need to have Kylian Mbappe to win the Champions League. One other quote he said that really stood out for me is, speaking about Mbappe, Leonardo said, "With his behaviour over the last 2 years, Mbappe has shown that he is not yet a player capable of really guiding a team. He's a great player, but he's not a leader. He's a great goal scorer, but he's not a creative player. It's difficult to build a team around him." So Leonardo not holding back at all, criticising Mbappe and saying, time to go, leave now. And he also seems to think that the future for PSG would be better without him.
Real Madrid won the Champions League a fair few times without Kylian Mbappe in their side, but do all roads now lead to Madrid for Mbappe?
Well, look, they're the overwhelming favourites to sign him. He's made no secret of the fact that he wants to play for Real Madrid. They've tried to sign him 3 times, once when he was at Monaco, twice from PSG. I think Real Madrid, of course, they want him. Ideally, they'd like to get him for nothing next summer. But at the moment, they are just biding their time. They are probably secretly quite pleased that Mbappe's relationship with PSG is disintegrating, because the worse the relationship gets, the more likely it is that they're going to be able to get him for a lower fee. As far as Mbappe himself is concerned, I think he's due back at pre-season training in 10 days' time. He's been in Cameroon over the weekend, where his father is from. Do
you think he'll turn up?
Good question. Well, there's no reason to doubt the fact that he'll turn up. I mean, he's had a lot of time off. He's due back on the 20th of July. He himself has said, "I want to stay at PSG. I want to leave next summer when my contract runs out. So it would be a bit surprising if he didn't turn up.